For those who have lived around here, most people know what the Spiro Mounds Archeological Center is. But we get new people that move in, and it's such a unique piece of history for this area. So tell me about the center. What do you all do there?
So the Spiro Mounds Archeological Center is the only archaeological site in Oklahoma that's open to the public. We've been open since 1978, and it basically serves as an interpretive center for what used to be a Native American ceremonial center. The site is considered the ancestral home of the Caddoan speaking people, so the Caddo Nation, as well as the Wichita and affiliated tribes. It basically served as a community center for the outlying villages in the area from about 800 AD to about 1500 AD. And then it was pretty much abandoned by the time of European contact. So most of what we know about the site comes purely through archaeological research, because we don't have the sort of resources that one would have in a post-contact society, like journals or diaries kept by explorers and things like that.
Things that have been found there have to be extraordinary.
Oh, absolutely. So there is a particular feature on the site known as the Craig Mound, which was the main burial mound for the center. And toward the end of the site's history, they constructed a special chamber within the Craig Mound and filled it with an extraordinary number of artifacts that span the trade routes that these people were engaging in, span from the Gulf of Mexico to Baja California, to the Great Lakes region, to the east. So really, they were just trading all over the continent. We also found out that there was an obsidian blade here that was traced to the Hidalgo region of Mexico. It's the only Mesoamerican artifact that's ever been found at a site like Spiro in North America. But we're talking literally tens of thousands of artifacts. It's truly probably the greatest, richest collection of Native American ritual artifacts that's ever been found in one spot north of Mexico.
And it's all on display for people to come look at.
So most of the things in our exhibit are replicas that have been created by the University of Oklahoma and their anthropology department. They have most of the originals, but we do have plans for a new exhibit in our interpretive center. And we hope to incorporate more items into that to give people a better idea of what kind of materials were being traded here. But we do have an exhibit area that gives you a pretty good idea of the types of things that were being crafted here and also being traded here as well.
So from now till June 14th, what's happening that's a little bit more special than normal?
Yes, so we are having excavation, or we're hosting excavations out here that are being carried out by the University of Oklahoma and the Oklahoma Archaeological Survey. The last time there was an excavation out here was about 10 years ago, and there were parts of that excavation that had to be halted halfway because of inclement weather. And so part of the plans for this excavation are to continue the study of those features that they found interesting last time around. And then they're also going to be studying housing units on the upper terrace, which is we've basically got three sections of the site. We've got the upper terrace, the occupation area, and then the eastern side of the park where the burial mound is. But they will basically be studying a small area in the occupation area, as well as the upper terrace. We don't plan on encountering any burials or retrieving any artifacts. Most of the artifacts at Spiro were cleaned out a long time ago as a result of looting, as well as WPA excavations in the 1930s. So most of what they're going to be studying is just to kind of get a better idea of everyday life at Spiro, as opposed to ritual life, which we have a pretty good idea of what that was like because of the wealth of material that was found in the Craig Mound. But we want to get a better idea of just, what the basic everyday lives of the Spiro people were like. And that's the goal of this excavation.
And folks can come out and watch this?
Absolutely. Right now, the interpretive center and the trails are a bit of a work in progress. We're waiting on funding to come in for some deferred maintenance projects. We have almost $2 million worth of projects planned for improvements to the site. And because we haven't completed those projects yet, we're waiving admission fees for the time being. So visitors can come out for free, and they can also witness the excavations in progress without any extra charge. They'll be out here Monday through Friday, but we're open Tuesday through Saturday. So the best time to come and see the excavations would be from about 9 a.m. when we open until about 2 in the afternoon. That's pretty much when they'll be working, weather permitting, of course.
So they're not really looking for artifacts. They're just looking for something that will give them an indication as to how the Native Americans at that time lived.
Exactly. That is exactly it. Yes. Like I said, most of the artifacts or the physical prehistoric material, at least, was cleaned out of the site almost 100 years ago. So there's not much in the way of physical material, but archaeologists can study other things, such as stratigraphy or soil layers. They can study context, the position of things in relation to everything else, and they use they use that to get a better idea of what ordinary life is like. I know it seems kind of it might be kind of difficult to imagine doing archaeology without having retrieving artifacts being the sole purpose. But there are actually things that they can study that can tell them, about the life ways of prehistoric peoples outside of, just locating artifacts and retrieving them.
And who knows, they may stumble upon something.
That's true. That's true. I will say most of it's not to say that there aren't, things out there, but pretty much any artifact that you're going to find now would be what we call historic or, after European contact, stuff that was left behind by the Choctaw freedmen and freedwomen, or the Choctaw freed slaves who occupied this area for a significant amount of time from the 19th century onward.
That's so fascinating. And I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. I hope a lot of folks come out and watch this.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure talking to you, Daren.